everybody, welcome to Assemble. I'm Matt, good to have you here. We're going to talk about WWE 2K24 just for a little bit because I got some thoughts on the DLC and the season pass that I wanted to share with you, and I've decided I'm not a fan. Not of the DLC, what is included necessarily, but we'll talk about all of the packs and what we're getting and not getting in this video. But I wanted to talk about kind of all of it holistically, the time frames, the content overall that we're getting with each individual pack, the Pat McAfee pack as well, because right now as we're recording this video, we are 2 weeks away from the DLC, the first pack coming out. So let's recap a little bit. We're gonna go step by step here, and if you guys end up enjoying this video, do Matt a favor and hit that subscribe button, that like button, and all the other stuff that we gotta do here. Let's go.
Hey man, so what are you doing? I'm eating Magic Spoon cereal. It's keto friendly and it's gluten free, and there's a lot of other things it does really good too. But those are the main ones, and it's actually delicious. It's chocolate chip. Do you want some? I do. I want all of it. But what? I have a bigger question for you. Did you pour the milk, then the cereal, in your bowl? Yeah. Why? That's how I eat all my cereal. I gotta be honest, it's just wrong in a lot of different ways. Have you tried blending like 3 of them together? It's fantastic. I know, it's actually really good. There's 13 grams of protein, there's 5 net carbs. They actually brought out their own new line of treats that you can get. So these bars are really, really good. There's only like 1 gram of sugar, you got 2 net carbs, 12 grams of protein, all in the bars. That actually might fill you up. It might be a better solution than eating the cereal the way you do. I don't see the problem. I can't handle this. Oh, 0 sugar.
Click the link below and get some Magic Spoon cereal today. You could build your very own custom box with all the flavors you love and use my code ASSEMBLE for $5 off.
Okay, the first pack is going to be the ECW Punk pack. Personally, very excited for this pack, but you got some qualms, some issues as we get through all of these DLCs together. But the first ECW Punk pack coming out May 15th. It's officially May 1st. I'm very excited about this pack because we are going to be getting the headliner CM Punk. It's been a minute since we've had CM Punk in a game. We're going to now have Cody in Fight Forever and 2K, and we're going to also have CM Punk in Fight Forever and in 2K. And I'm very excited for this because I think we're going to get his Survivor Series look. It really depends. Punk is also an interesting character because he changes his look like every week, it seems like. He's got the beard, then he doesn't, he's scruffy, he's got a lot of looks. So I'm wondering what 2K is going to do. What are they going to give us for attire options when it comes to CM Punk? And I do believe, it's just speculation, that we would get Punk's current new theme of Cult of Personality. I wish they would give us retro models. My only hope is My Faction, and that My Faction will deliver some retro stuff in there, but you never know. Along with this pack, we are going to see 2 superstars that have been on WWE programming a lot lately, focusing in on the draft, showing up backstage and stuff. The Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray and Devon, are in this pack too, and I really like this. It's a staple for ECW, but I've been wanting them back in the game. It's a shame though that we cannot, and this can't happen, but we can't get the Dudleys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian in a WWE game probably ever again. But the Dudleys, really, really cool. The other one is going to be Sandman. We are getting Sandman in this pack. I wonder what music he's going to get. No, I don't think he's going to get Metallica because I don't think 2K is going to shell out the money for that. We'll probably get generic rock theme number 5. That's my guess. But Sandman sounds great. And then rounding off the pack is going to be Terry Funk, which is great. Added legend. Really excited to be able to have the Funk Man in there. That's Johnny Ace, isn't it? Can't talk about that anymore. So the ECW pack, May 15th, looks good, headlined by Punk. I'm glad that they are doing it this way and they are not putting Punk at the end of the game, at the end of the season pass. But I do feel like as we look at this first pack, it's coming too late, is my overall opinion, with this one specific pack to kick things off. And the reason why I say that is the game came out in March, and it's a long stretch in the world of a video game to be waiting this long for additional content. I understand that it is just over a month, it's less than 2 months since the game came out, but just as a fan and a guy who plays the 2K games and WWE, I feel like this is a long wait. I think they should have probably released this April, right after WrestleMania, and I think that would have gone a lot longer in terms of the you know, the lifespan of the game, because waiting this long, sure, it's going to bring existing players, new players into the game, or pick it up if they've dropped it after a couple of weeks and be able to get back in there because they see, you know, CM Punk, for example, they're able to play as him in the game. They're going to pick it up, and that's the whole point. Just have some fun, do some fun matches. But keep in mind, everybody, if you did get the 40 Years of WrestleMania edition, or you bought that DLC, that one individual pack, you did get all of those released attires. Those are all out except for WrestleMania 40 Arena. My only hope there is that we are going to get that arena like this week or next week, and that is purely a guess here because we haven't heard anything. And I understand it probably takes time to be able to build it, make it, and do it properly with the assets for WWE, get it all correct, and WrestleMania did just happen, but I don't want them to wait too long. I think a good move would be to get the WrestleMania 40 Arena out like this week with a patch. That's another thing. We need more patches in this game, and then the following week you have the DLC, so it can kind of hit home for both player bases. The next pack is coming out June 26. Not a huge gap. That's good. That's more in line with what they've done previously. And the second pack is going to be the Post Malone and Friends pack. Post Malone, Sensational Sherry, the Headbangers, Mosh and Thrasher, Honky Tonk Man, and Jimmy Hart as a manager. And then obviously with every pack that we talk about, you also get all of the My Faction cards to go with it. This pack is okay. Like, it's not the best. Like, I get that they put Post Malone in there and that's going to be kind of the headliner. They do this every year with like whoever does the music. I don't really care for it. I think I understand it from a marketing side. Just as a player though, I'm probably not going to play as Post Malone. I don't have any interest in that. I would have rather seen it go with a legend, but that could be more to do with what WWE wants with their video game. Mosh, Thrasher, there's value there for me because I love Attitude Era, so I'm good with that. Sensational Sherry is great, although I do feel like she should have just been in the game and marked in with the, 40 Years of WrestleMania, going through the actual showcase mode and unlock her that way. Honky Tonk Man, cool. I'm gonna do Gunther versus Honky Tonk Man for sure. And then Jimmy Hart manager. And I don't love when they do this every year where they give us managers as DLC because they're not playable. You have Jimmy Hart, manage Hulk Hogan, for example. That's cool. But I don't feel like it should be a full DLC slot. I think that should be rounded out with, more characters, more superstars. And then a month later, they're going to drop the third pack. And this one, it has a little controversy, if you will. And that is going to be the Pat McAfee Show Pack. Just reading it. So, Pat McAfee, you get. I'm excited. I like Pat. I like to see Pat in the game. Wanted him for the last 2 years. Yay, we're going to be able to get Pat McAfee as a playable. But then you have, with this pack, all of Pat's co-hosts, producers, his friends. You're going to get Ty Schmidt, Boston Connor, AJ Hawk, Darius Butler, and the My Faction cards with it. This one has a lot of controversy online in terms of the player base for WWE. I don't think that this is a good move. I think that this is a poor decision, and I think it doesn't speak to the fan base and the player base directly, nor do I think it actually speaks to WWE fans. And we don't know if this is a move by 2K because they want it. It's probably more to do with WWE and them working out a deal. And I'm guessing here, but I would suspect it's between Pat, WWE, and then 2K's in there. And they got all of Pat's buddies in there into the video game, get a nice payday. I understand it from Pat's perspective of like, it's just kind of fun. It's a fun thing. But I don't think that for a fan base, for WWE fans, for WWE 2K fans, people that buy the game, people that buy the season pass, this does not speak to me as a fan. I want Pat McAfee, sure, put him in there. You know what? Even add one of his buddies as like, whatever, a manager or a playable character. But an entire DLC pack dedicated to the Pat McAfee show. They're different audiences. This is the part I don't understand. And we got more to talk about when it comes to the overall DLC and the season pass. This is the part I do not understand because it doesn't work for me, brother. It doesn't speak to your audience. To me, this is a miss because I think wrestling fans that play the video games and that also spend extra money want to be able to get the downloadable content, the additional bonuses to play as wrestlers they're familiar with. And like, we're familiar with Pat McAfee. And even if you're more casual, and this is the thing too, the hardcore audience, they know exactly in the community, the hardcore community here, they know what all of this is. They know these people, they know adding Pat McAfee to this pack They know kind of the ins and outs of this and what it looks like, and you guys probably have your list of possible DLC that you would rather have in there, and probably a lot of it is NXT and some Legends, right? But the thing is when I look back a little bit, stand back like the hurricane, and you look at the DLC that you're gonna get, you start going through names, and as a casual player or fan of WWE, you'd probably go through the list of the DLC and get to this pack and go, oh yeah, I've heard Pat McAfee's the guy on commentary. Who are these other people? Are these wrestlers? No. So why am I paying this additional price where one whole pack maybe doesn't speak to a lot of fans? That's part of the issue I have with this. Okay, I've talked about the Pat McAfee pack. You guys comment below what you guys think about the whole thing, but let's move on to the next pack. This one is good. It's very strong, but it's in September. And it's all the way in September 20th. And I got to talk about these gaps in the dates. We got end of July is the third pack. Then you got all of August, there's nothing. Then you're waiting to the end of September for the Global Superstars pack. Jade Cargill, which is going to be kind of your headliner, Nia Jax, Michelle McCool, Carlito, Kairi Sane, Lyra Valkyria, Dragon Lee, and the My Faction cards. This is a great pack, great strong pack. I kind of feel like you could have taken this pack, added Pat McAfee, and that is a pack. But regardless, you got a mixture of having the legends like Michelle McCool in there, and everybody else. You got NXT represented, and you have current roster, current stars. I think that's a very strong pack, and I am excited to play with every single person that is going to be in there, because it all speaks to me as a fan. But September 20th is that pack, the fourth pack. To me, that is way too far of a gap between your release dates. And with those gaps, I would think, okay, maybe they're going to beef it up with more My Faction content, more Persona cards to be able to play and unlock in the base game. However, I'm getting worried that they are not going to do that. And the reason I say that is we are a month and a half into the game's release, and you still pretty much can't get the Seth Rollins Shield Persona card. You can't get the Trick Williams Persona card. You have to get it's a 2% chance, I've heard, of unlocking the cards to then unlock that version of Seth. And I will say, I like My Faction this year. But what I have not liked is the gaps in content. And then the pricing was way too high, and they brought it back a little bit, and it's back down to earth. But with this giant gap in the summer between packs 3 and 4, I would like to think that they're going to drop a ton of patch updates, a ton of My Faction content with the Persona card specifically in there to keep players going, to keep people invested. I think that that is such a far gap because we are already a month and a half into this game, and I can already see comments in the community, comments online of people saying, man, this game feels like it's been out for 6 months. Where is the content? And that's what I think a lot of people are feeling right now. And when you get into the dog days of the summer, that's a long gap to be waiting for your fourth pack, and you're coming off of the third one, which I'm gonna suspect, just a guess, is not gonna be well received. But then you have the fifth and final pack for DLC for the year, the WCW pack. I like this one. November 13th, I don't like that one. Diamond Dallas Page, Iron Sheik, Mr. Perfect, The Great Muta, and Lex Luger, and the My Faction cards are in there. Nearly 2 months until the last pack comes out. Don't like that. Way too far, even for me. I play the game every single week, and looking at between now and all the way to end of mid-November for the final DLC pack. Wow, that's a long time. And it's also a long time because you start creeping into the next game. We know 2K25 is already going to be in development now. They're already going to be working on it and looking at the next year's video game and what they can improve and do differently. One of the things I would say to 2K to do differently, rejig this DLC content, this rollout, because DLC is always going to be a tricky thing, regardless of video game, because it's going to speak to some people, it's going to not speak to others. And that's okay. That's just what happens with it. It's value for some and it's not valuable for others. That's just kind of the nature of it. And I think 2K and WWE's job is to try to always find a balance. And sometimes it's okay, and sometimes it's a big miss and a flop. And it happens. But you're messing with people's money and their investment. And when people have pre-ordered the game, they got it right now, or even when they get it in a month, for example, They're waiting all the way until November to get the final DLC. And a lot of people out there, a lot of consumers, in my opinion, they're going to be looking at, well, what's the point of this? I might as well just wait until next year because it's only a few months away at that point. And I wouldn't, throw it past anybody for wanting to not pick up the game once it's September, October, and you're going, hey, there's still a final DLC you can pick up. And you go, but if I just wait for 3 months or 4 months, the next game gets announced, and presumably all of the characters that are going to be in that final WCW pack, they're going to show up in the next game in 2K25 because it's typically how it goes. Unless the contracts run out and the Legends deals aren't there, they're going to be in 2K25. So it's kind of a tricky situation, but I don't like the gaps. I don't like the gaps in time. I don't think that's consumer friendly. And I don't expect the game to sandwich all of the packs together so that it's just like 4 weeks, one after another. But when one of the packs is kind of a miss already just by observing it and doesn't speak to a lot of wrestling fans, and the rest of the packs are spread out really far, and we haven't seen things supplemented with more content like My Faction Persona cards to give you those extra characters, where that's kind of what we thought we were going to get this year. And so far, we haven't really gotten that at all. Not to mention all of the existing bugs, glitches, everything else that needs to be patched and updated already, and it's a month and a half into the game's life cycle. What do you think of the DLC? What would you do differently? Am I wrong? Let me know in the comments below. And guys, if you enjoy videos like this, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.